Oh my god, one second, one sec. Okay, there we go. Something messed up on one of my transforms. Like it was supposed to. Oh no, nothing messed up on my transforms. I think accidentally. No, that's not. Oh, wait, what? Okay, one second. So I am able to take some of that away. So this should be 90. And this should be 120. Hold on. It goes over there, it goes to the... Oh, and then my face, of course. Yeah, one second. I thought I minimized that, but I guess I didn't. That's okay. Just bear, bear with me. Bear with me. And then we'll set that to, what, 5? What? What? So confused. Okay. Oh. I feel it. That's right, Google is playing one gigantic prank on me. How dare they? Can you imagine that Google is actually bored enough to play a prank on me out of all people? Actually, no, never mind. I do know someone that works at Google, don't I? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That's okay. One second. Okay. All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy 2023, boys and girls. Why don't I Why don't I make sure that works before I start the stream? That is actually a good question. The question is, what time are we at? We're at 2:50. Why doesn't Muses make sure the stream is good before he starts? And the answer is, as actually almost always the answer of why I don't make something better before I start stream is because of your progenitors. Your progenitors are such people. I was desperately trying to come up with some kind way of saying that, but I can't. Your progenitors are such people that oftentimes, if I don't have a solution quite immediately, they you know, they're a little bit short tempered. And of course, then I make fun of them for it. I'll say mean things about them on stream, and so we're sort of all like that. That is kind of our modus operandi, because well, I mean, and this is addressed to one of our year 1 class 1 students who is asking uh, one second. This is answering one of our year 1 class 1 questions, which is, you know, like, there are people that you work well with that you simply do not respect, or no, that's not true, that you are mean to, right? Like, sometimes you are mean to your friends, sometimes you are we are usually not the most polite we can be to our friends, right? Like, at our level of society, when we are polite to someone, that is usually because we want to be mean to them or because we feel sorry for them. Let's be quite honest about that, right? Oh, sorry. Let me add this in. At our level of society, hyper politeness is mostly a form of aggression, right? Like let's be very clear about that. And so it is like that with people that you work with as well. Sometimes you detest, or you don't detest, but like you argue all the time with someone you work with, but then you are actually quite good mates. It's just that, like when two people are I don't want to say at the top of their field, when two people feel that they are experts, they are more prone to try to impose their own um, view on things. And that is actually healthy if there is someone else that can take it but also dish it. And I don't mean that in the gay way, so just yeah, see, I try to preempt these, but I never, like, it doesn't matter. The moment I say it, it's just whatever. But it is very much true. And this is sort of, it's also kind of the reason why capitalism works, because it is only via competition, via good-natured competition, that is to say, right? Like, because if two people argue, what's to stop one person from just shiving the other person, right? Like, they're really, in an ideal world you wouldn't, and in a competitive world you wouldn't either, but in a free for all world you might. And there is that argument that despotism is more efficient because one person just says and then shit gets done, but that is also not really true. We can talk about despotism another day. Let me actually put that in for our philosophical discussions on the inefficiencies of despotism. And so the reason why it works when you're arguing with someone is that as you're arguing, it is almost a way of, am I going the right direction? Yes, I am. It is almost a way of working through issues together, right? Like when you have two experts in the field and you are both assigned to a project and you're both arguing about it, there's a very good chance that you are able to see issues that arise that the other person hasn't. And so as you're arguing, as like you're essentially, exactly, you're weaponizing the desire of dude one to make dude two look stupid. And so by doing so, you are essentially pushing these two people to consider a problem from all aspects, or from all aspects that they are in which they have expertise, right? And and so by doing that, you you solve the problem more coherently than if you had just one person that goes in and tries to solve the problem by themselves. Because one person by themselves, there's uh much easier chance of getting pigeonholed, of having tunnel vision, than if there were two people that are sort of basically peers in terms of, like, they view each other as peers, right? And so um say for example, if one of our year 3 students comes to me and tries to argue with me, I don't view them as peers even though they're much older than me, because they are just dumb. No, that's not true. But I always will find every chance I can to make fun of our year 3 students, because obviously, like, being 50 and above and listening to a random kid half your age, or more, actually more than half your age, or rather less than half your age, whatever, not important, uh, and watching this animated character talking, like, what is wrong with you, right? No, but the point remains, when you have these two people that are arguing, and it can be very productive and you can be very good friends. and you can have your differences in expert opinion, and you can still be good friends. And sort of one of the examples that I really like that is sort of a staple of Western civilization is Top Gear. Well, not Top Gear. Or former Top Gear, you know, the relationship between Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and on and off Richard Hammond. The fact that they argue and they bicker and and yet at the end of the day, you know, they're still mates. They go out for a drink all the damn time. You know, they're really good friends. But on TV, they argue all the time when they're trying to build stuff. You know, in part for entertainment, but they discovered that that was entertaining after they had started, right? Like it wasn't that Jeremy Clarkson decided one day to invite James May because he thought it would be funny to see him and James argue on television. That's not how that worked, right? It's just like they stumbled upon that kind of dynamic, and that kind of dynamic is good. And there's a reason why Top Gear is, you know, like it's not really the cultural mainstay it was after the BBC didn't renew Jeremy's contract, right? You know, it is what it is. What does this have to do with so going back to our original point, which is why I'm okay with being insulted and being pushed by our year 2 and year 3 students, and why I do it back to them, it is sort of that kind of dynamic, right? Like we are friends, most of us. Like I've worked with most of them ish. I mean, we have one of our newer cohorts are sort of like secondary people that I haven't met before, and so, you know, there's a little bit more distance, but definitely our primary group, what the original 1,200-ish people, like I have all worked with, and it's easy to then develop that relationship into one where, you know, you're mocking each other playfully. Obviously, like I can't mock each and every one of them individually, because that would, like, I would die before I could finish typing all of my insults to each and every one of them. But they know that I'm like most of the people that I've worked with, at least, know that that's the type of thing that I would do, right? Yeah. And then of course our secondary cohort, that's a little bit different, but they sort of take their cues from our primary cohort, and it ends up working fairly well, as long as everyone follows and maintains the non-disclosure agreements, right? Can we be very clear about that? Anyone who doesn't is in serious violation, and I will, and you guys know which law firm I use, they will chase you until the ends of the earth. There is nothing that can protect you from my boys and girls, right? Like that's what they do. And I love them for it. And I desperately wish I never have to call upon them, but they are under retainership and they know, right? Like I should mention when, and this is sort of for our year 1 students who probably don't know this. When your progenitors sign away their souls to me, when they join the community, there is a dossier of documents, non-disclosure agreements that they write. There are certain guarantees that we put in place, and I deposit all of these with my law firm, such that if someone tries to violate, yeah, actually, even, and this includes you children, right? Which is why I talk to each of the year 1 students individually to make sure you know what you're getting into. That when you do violate the NDA, oh, hi Brad, how are you? When you do violate the NDA, like it's out of my hands, right? Like all of these things have been signed; they are all law. You could, you know, like, or and people do. Actually, no one in our community has violated it so hard yet, but you know, like if you could theoretically sue to break the NDA, but we have, you know, the things in place to make sure that it doesn't, given that there are no laws being broken, right? Like that's sort of one of the most fundamental ones. obviously, if you want to break the NDA and you want to break laws at the same time, that is kind of beyond me. but but I like to think that I know most of you well enough to know that you're not going to like ruin yourself just to break an NDA that has nothing to do with me to begin with, right? So, like, excuse me. Good job, Brett. Normal is great. Anyway, so we have been going down these gullies in the middle of Shizuoka. We have looked at beautiful mountain scenery. You know, like it's fine. Again, right? With heavy contempt to annoy Muses Corporation number 0 for sponsoring this. And then for choosing to go into the middle of nature. There's nothing wrong with nature, again, as I talked about last time, but seeing nature on Google Street View is not the same as being within nature. It's actually kind of boring, isn't it? Let's see, 15 minutes NDA talk until now, and then 16 minutes. Oh, that's the wrong button. What is this? Muses complains about nature, Google Earth and TAMC number 0. Fantastic. Such is life, isn't it? No, I don't get out of meetings today. It doesn't quite work that way. We actually pushed one of our one quite important board meeting to today for sort of quite annoying and quite irresponsible reasons, but here we are, right? So that's what we're doing. Am I? I thought I was allowed to go there. There we go. Okay. So let's follow this road. We know not where it leads us. This trucker stuff like last time. No, that's certainly in a different area geographically. That's not to say that this cannot have a weird trucker stop where they rent out costumes. It's just, you know, I don't think this is. That's some sort of power plant, and presumably this is just some bloke's home, right? Like, yeah, we're getting into the residential zone, and this was taken in 2014. Like, there's probably not much going on around here. Izakaya Matsuya. Shall we go to Izakaya Matsuya? Is Wait, is this it? Is it? Is that it? I'm not sure that's it, but I also don't want to explore further, so let's just Hime Motors. Okay, good. Motor vehicle dealer. Let's go to the grocery store. Is this the grocery store? Is that really? Hold on. Oh, that does look like. Yeah, it is. Oof. That is rustic. Let's put it that way. Rustic, yes. Um, we're going to continue down the. We'll have to go across. Yeah, we'll go from the side. Mouse. Need a better mouse. Okay. So as we're continuing down this mountain, where's the? Oh, there's the water. Okay, good. I love the attempt by our year 3 students to defend their age and the fact that they're watching a cartoon Catboy, and sorry, not cartoon Catboy. How dare I? Anime Catboy, make fun of them, and claim that, you know, they enjoy it, whatever. I mean, guys, it's fine, right? Like I don't think you have anything to be ashamed of. Actually, no, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just, you know, like, it's lucky that we have the NDA and that no one can tell that no one can tell others that this is what you got. No. Like, I mean, Japanese culture is now pretty prevalent, right? Like, I'm fairly certain that there is like already a secret weeb clique somewhere up top. Like, that wouldn't be surprising to me. Actually, you know what? That's probably true, eh? Given how many of you are here, yeah, it turns out that actually we are this secret weeb clique that sits at the top of the world. Yeah, let me put that in. What time are we at? We're at 21 minutes. Muses' community turns out to be the secret weeb clique that controls the world. There we go. Congratulations. I hope it makes you guys happy. You know, like. Actually, if we were a secret society and controlling the world, I would be a little bit concerned for the future of the world. If this were true, Muses would be quite concerned for the future of the world because of how dumb you lot are. Not dumb, how silly you lot can be. Right? Let's put it that way, yes. I am just responding to one of your messages. So, what are we doing in 2023? Right? Remember, I talked about this before. Or rather, I talked about it on Discord last night about so my personal feeling is that we have a chance to sort of meet the new year and the new world with a little bit more of optimism, with a little bit more I'm trying to think of the word that isn't optimism. But yeah, the idea is simply that I think there is a case for us to be a little bit more optimistic about society, about the way that we do things, about how the world will go. I completely agree that it's not looking great right now. And you know, we are doing what we can in our own way, or at least I am. Some of you I'm not so sure about, but you know, like beyond that, what more can we do, right? There is this concept of agency and understanding our own agency. Let me put this in discussion on agency. Right? Like we have a tendency, all humans, but especially those of us who have the means, we have a tendency of wanting to do more than we are actually capable of doing. That is not to say paragliding. Interesting. That is not to say that, you know, like we can't do more if we spend every moment of our lives like with some sort of task that like brings us excitement, joy, whatever, right? Like, or not excitement, joy, but rather that if we spend every moment of our lives on a purposeful task, but that is not realistic, right? Like we could be doing more, But at some point, the brain will simply be unable to process all of that information. The brain needs its changes in perspective. It needs its differences. It needs to be exposed to novel things. And if we are always focused on our own projects, the projects that we feel that we can make a difference in, then we are not giving the brain the rest that it needs. Not just within sleep, but also within sort of its ability to respond, like the neuroplasticity that I'm talking about, right? Why don't I share more papers on this? Well, I mean, I could share more papers on this, but most of you can't read a scientific paper to save your own bloody lives, right? Like, okay, how about this? Instead of, oh, I forgot to, we are supposed to do the sponsorships today as well, aren't we? Yes. Were they running? Oh, they were running. Fantastic. Thank you. Let me finish this part of the conversation, and then I'll just go in and I'll type in the schedule for next week. So I was going to say, I'm perfectly happy to if there is a desire within the community to oh nice, we come out of the little town into a nice not dual, like single carriageway. If there is enthusiasm for it, I'm perfectly happy like taking a scientific paper, and then we'll take a single broadcast to sort of go through. Oh, I mean, we're not going to go through the entire paper. We'll go through one or two key figures. We'll talk about the science behind the paper and all of that, right? Like, if that's something you want to do, that's perfectly reasonable, and I'm perfectly happy to do it. I think it's actually one of the better ways. Excuse me. Oh, this is cute. Can we get in? Did anyone do photos? Oh, there is someone that did a photo shoot. Fantastic. Okay, this is not as cute as I thought. Yeah, I want to see the river. Is that the river? No, that's just a path, right? The river's over there. This is less cute than I thought. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so oh, fantastic. Okay, all right. I mean, you guys don't have to like modify your bit. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, okay. So I will let's park somewhere that looks mildly scenic, and then we can that's not mildly scenic, is it? No. Oh, this is mildly scenic. Look at all the photo shoots. Yeah, photospheres. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll do this. And so this is because obviously it looks like it's completely dried up, but this is because during the rainy season, a lot of it actually accumulates a ton of water. And so this is sometimes necessary. Like sometimes they will actually, I don't know if this is an actual dam. It doesn't look like it. It looks like just that's just a railway bridge. But yeah, that is just a railway bridge. But they will occasionally dam certain parts of rivers just to control water, right? Anyway, let me bring up what we're doing. I'm going to bring up the schedule. So far, ow. So far we have that, okay. Let's see who won. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Writing Muses fiction, year 1, class 2. Well, thank you very much for that. Ow. And then oh, that's oh, that's mildly sweet of the mommy clique for them to do this. Thank you. Yeah, we will then in that case. Which is, let's see, a scientific paper. Do you guys want me to give you a few choices? Do you guys want to give me the paper? It's probably easier if I give you like 2 choices, and then you guys can choose between one of the 2. How about that? Yes, yes. Let's do that. And then random video game, video game. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we will figure it out when the time comes. How about that? Okay. Anyway, we are done for today. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, no, 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 no. Uh, like why don't the mommies clique and I just sort of get together in a breakout room after this and we can talk about it. But essentially, the idea would be that, like, if you choose just any paper, right? Like there are way too many papers. Like if you choose any paper, then there is a very high chance that I have no idea what the paper is talking about. Well, that's not true. There's a chance that it is outside of my field of mild pretentious expertise. And if it is, then there's not much I can say on it sort of in that is cutting edge. I mean, I can give you probably historical context. I can give you sort of related context that is related around the topic, but not necessarily very detailed information on the topic itself. If that is what you guys want, perfect, fine, whatever. That is that. Well, I mean, whatever. It's perfect. Not to sound passive aggressive because I'm not. If that is what you guys want, like instead of having a very in-depth discussion on the paper, we would sort of talk about like historical context. We would talk about how the system fits into the broader. For example, right? If you give me a paper about the heart, I have very little knowledge about the heart, but I might talk about the blood pressure. I might talk about the heart timings, the different neurons that control different timings within the heart, um, and how the heart essentially has like multiple backup systems to make sure that it continues to pump. That kind of stuff. Simply because I wouldn't be able to go into details about cardiomyocytes, right? Like it's just okay. Yes, if you give me a paper on no, let me just make this very clear. No papers on philosophy because that is a self-contained field. That field, philosophy currently is where science was about. I want to say 40 to 50 or even 100 years ago, where the fields didn't talk to each other, right? And that to me that isn't great because it means that you are essentially self radicalizing within the field. Philosophy as a scientific as scientific discourse is where other sciences were 50 to 100 years ago because it remains cloistered and self-contained. And and this is sort of like and we were like that with science because we thought that things really didn't have much to do with each other. Now we know that that's not really true, right? Like now we like yes, you might spend your entire life in particle physics, for example, but that doesn't mean that you can't dip your feet into gravity, you can't dip your feet into biophysics, that kind of stuff, because we are at a level of science where a lot of these things are overlapping, right? Like I personally worked on a project where I was where the team was a quantum physicist, particle physicist, was a hardcore neurobiologist, and me, I was on the team, weirdly enough, as the engineer slash actually I can't talk about the other one. Yeah, so like you see that point, right? Like we are at a point where so many things are overlapping that you can and in fact you should dip your toes into other places, because it makes you better as a scientist. You don't have to know the depth of everything else, but you should know enough about things that could potentially be applied to that, not only are you able to create knowledge in your own field, but your expertise could be used in a completely different field. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. So no philosophy papers, anything outside of that. You can give me history for all I care, right? Like honestly, our discussions on Badget would be an example of what I would do if you give me a paper that I'm not an expert on. Cool. Okay. Happy 2023. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox. Please don't do Chrome, and I shall see all of you tomorrow. And yes, there's a wink. It's going to come out of my left eye today, since we did, I think, right eye yesterday. Wink. Bye.